Hello, David here, and the project for today is filming a tour of the USS Blueback submarine. This is in Portland at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. I hope you enjoy the tour.
When I go like this, you say, dive, dive. Can you do it? You have to say it with enthusiasm. Ready, set,
dive, dive.
That was really good. Here goes. That's the end of the loud part. But I need two people sitting in those chairs. Where's my drivers and divers? Sit down, everybody. Two guys, sit down. Come on, push. You, somebody. I need somebody to submerge a submarine. Push all the way to the wall. All the way to the wall. Hold it for 3 minutes. Submarine was on the surface, bends over, starts under, and about 3 minutes later, that depth gauge right there says 250. We went down 250 feet just that fast. So now you guys can let go. Let go. Oh, that's a 6-hour watch. We'll come back for you about 5 this afternoon. Got a deal?
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Do these buttons shoot missiles?
No, they talk to the captain, so be very careful about pushing them.
Okay.
I'm heading out of here first. I'm going to go down this ladder. I'd like everybody to follow me. I'm on my way to the torpedo room. But at the bottom of the ladder is this room called sonar. That's where we listen to things. I went by there a while ago, and I thought I heard a whale. Follow me.
Maybe? No. That's my hope.
Come on in, everybody. Head forward, head forward, head forward. Anybody see a torpedo?
Excuse me.
You go over the wall up there. Yeah. 21 feet long. Come on through. Watch your head. Here we go. You're in. A hat is a very good idea, Dad.
Yeah. It's not a hard hat, though.
It'll help.
Those
Come on through, you guys.
I have a question.
Go
If we
ahead.
actually dive in the
We didn't actually die. Now ask me if we're underwater. Underwater. Yeah. See that exit sign up there? That's the water line. All right, everybody. This is the torpedo room. We're about as far forward on this submarine as we can go. We used to have guys called torpedo men on the submarine that used to wash out the torpedo tubes every time we pulled the trigger. They'd have to go out that torpedo tube with a hose with fresh water, and they had to wash it out all the way to the outer door. That outer door is shut right now because it's holding back the Willamette River. As I was explaining here, you all are about 8 feet underwater right now, so we're going to leave that door shut for the time being down there. There's some old torpedoes down here. There's a green one just to the right. That's a Mark 37 from World War II. Further out, there's a big old Mark 14 from World War II. The Mark 14, when it went into World War II, they used to say it bounced off the enemy ship, backed up, apologized, and sank. So they had to repair that, but after a while it worked out pretty well. When the Navy had a chance to start buying this green one, though, this one's called a Mark 48. What's it called?
What were you saying about saying apologizing and then sinking?
Not a very good torpedo. The big black one, World War II, say 1941. You may have missed that part, but it didn't work. And then they fixed it, and all of a sudden we started winning that one. But in the 1970s, the Navy started buying this green one on the left called a Mark 48, and we're still buying it today. World's best torpedo. Been updated about a dozen times, and I'm sure the price has gone up right along with it, but there's the world's best torpedo. It can go better than 55 miles an hour underwater. It can go more than 20 miles. We can talk to it for the whole 20 miles because there's a 20-mile long wire in that can. One end of the wire stays in the back of the torpedo even when it's going 55. The other end of that wire is plugged into our fire control computers up here. We want the guy to go left. We say, hey, go left. If the torpedo says, I'm lost, I can't find it, we tell him, go right. And we talk this guy until he finds the target. He also has pretty good hearing on his own. We tell him what the target sounds like, and he keeps hunting until he finds exactly that right sound. So if we shoot it off and the first ship this torpedo goes by is carrying logs to Yokohama, wrong ship, let him alone. Goes right by somebody carrying crude oil to California, again, wrong ship, leave him alone. But if there's a big old Kirov super cruiser out there coming over the horizon, he's in for a very bad day. This torpedo swims at him at 55, dives underneath, goes underneath him and goes off. 850 pounds of explosives, makes a big old hole in the ocean, so big that whatever that guy was falls in that hole and is never seen again. If you type in Mark 48 torpedo at YouTube, our Navy has sunk about 20 of our biggest ships and made movies about it, and some of them are kind of cool. The one destroyer kind of goes boom like that, back to level, and then it just sags and sinks. 90 seconds. Go ahead.
So is there a man in there?
There is. That's an unmanned torpedo.
Feed sources. So in addition to storing torpedoes down here, if we were operational, you'll see a lot of perishable food. You'd see stacks of eggs and hanging bags of fruits and vegetables because there's space and it's cool. So we can put 22 torpedoes down here. 6 will be tube loaded, so there's 3 tubes up there at eye level, 3 tubes that are at your foot level, and then 16 down here in the room. So you are standing right now on an elevator. It moves all the way up here to the 3rd level to move torpedoes to reach of the levels of the torpedo. There's a video running up here, so if you take a look at that, you can see how torpedoes get down here. And so in port, torpedoes can get lowered down one at a time by a crane. So the deck plates come off here. You put these rollers on the deck, so the torpedoes then just get rolled down into the torpedo room from topside.
Is it that one?
Yeah, right above there. You'll see it in the video there. You'll see how those rollers. So it just rolls down, and this gets angled up. In the video, you can see it gets angled up to made up of that line up there. So torpedoes just roll down here into the torpedo room. Once they get all the way down here, then these lashing straps you see on the torpedoes are here. They get locked in place so it won't move, and then gets lowered back down to the position it's in now, and then you can move it wherever you want to move it into the torpedo room.
How long does it take to load one?
About 45 minutes.
One?
Yeah, we have a variety of torpedoes we've used over the years in here. The black ones are Mark 14 torpedoes. They're World War II vintage. Straight runners, anti-surface torpedoes. They physically have to hit the target to go off, and they sometimes work. But we fixed problems with them, and we used them until the 70s on board. The one we use today is the one behind you, the Mark 48 NCHEP. It's been around in various configurations since the mid-70s. It's an anti-submarine, anti-surface ship torpedo, and it's wire-guided. So once you launch it, it talks back to you and tells you what it sees, what it's doing.
Oh, wow.
If you don't like what it's doing, you can tell it to do something different.
We're not even all the way underwater.
Lower, middle, or upper. You get one, you get one. Get in there, guys. Bunk beds. Bunk beds. Your head goes down toward the light. That way you can lay in bed and read your books. Come on in. There we go.
How'd you get in
You're
here?
gonna go with me.
Why don't you go down here?
Wait, can you take a picture of
That
me?
way. We're all standing here, but we're going out that way.
This is nice, Mom.
You like it in there? It's cozy?
No one take the top,
Toward the light.
please.
All right, you guys. I'm going to start explaining the facts of life to you about subsailing down here.
You take a
We
picture of
lacked
me?
3 things on this submarine. 1, there's not enough bunk beds. 66 bunk beds down here. 77 guys wanted to sleep in them. So somebody has
Want me
to
to tough them
share. The sharing process on this submarine is called hot bunking. You get to sleep there for 6 hours. You got in there yet? Give it a try. 6 hours, then somebody comes around and wakes you up. Hey buddy, get up, put your clothes on, get out of here. You're hot bunking. That means that as soon as you leave, somebody else climbs into your bunk and goes to sleep. He sleeps there for 6 hours. That bunk doesn't get a chance to cool down, so it's called hot bunking. Another limitation down here, fresh water. We make fresh water in the back of the submarine in big stills back there, but almost all of that water goes for purposes other than us. It goes into these big batteries that are right down below us right now. Right now, 3 feet under that floor are 300 tons of lead acid batteries. And they need distilled water every day or two. They get the water, we don't. We get enough fresh water to do the cooking in the galley, to do the pots and pans in the galley, to wash our hands, and to take one shower every 4 days. The showers, right up
I
there.
can live with that.
You are allowed enough water to wash for 3 minutes, 3 gallons. And if you go over 3 or 3, you're gonna hear, "Hey, water buffalo, get out of there." You don't want to be called a water buffalo on our little submarine. There's no fresh water for laundry. There's no washing machine down here. You're not allowed to wash your clothes out in the sink. You just bring down about 6 pair of uniforms, the old blue jeans, the blue chambray shirt, and your underwear. And you come down, and every day you get up and you put on your cleanest pair of dirty clothes. And that goes on. Sometimes we're out there for 90 days at sea. So between sleeping and not washing your clothes, after a while the submarine starts to, shall we say, PU. It doesn't smell good. We pull back into port, we open up the hatch, take a big breath of fresh air, and choke. Because the outside air doesn't smell good anymore. It's just a fact of life. Why would anybody ever volunteer for submarines? Every single sailor ever on an American submarine volunteered to get there. Why? I'm going to take you around the corner. We're headed for cruise mess. And I'm going to start talking about food. And all of a sudden it's going to seem just a little bit more... Whoa.
This counts.
Are you a good slider? Or you could walk in and there's a table back there waiting for you. Come on in, you guys. Have a seat. Slide on there, guys. This is cruise mess down here. This is where the enlisted guys come. They come because this is where we show movies. There's a coffee pot right behind me, always going. There's always somebody down here to talk to. And they serve 4 meals a day down here. Every meal on this submarine is cooked in that galley. We had 4 professional chefs. They all didn't work at the same time. We actually had 4 meals a day, so it kind of worked out everybody got 1 meal, about 6 hours worth of cooking. First meal in the morning is breakfast. We just woke you up. You come stumbling in here. You're going to find a professional chef standing in front of that griddle. And he's going to make you anything that can come off of a griddle for breakfast. I'm going to use the word "and." You can have pancakes and French toast and scrambled eggs and cheese omelet and ham and bacon and, did I miss anything? Hash browns. There's 2 waffle irons going back there, and we can get you some oatmeal if you want some oatmeal. That's breakfast. 6 hours later, you come back. There's another professional chef back there. He's making you dinner. The midday meal in the Navy's called dinner for some reason. If this was
lunch is dinner, and then supper is...
Well, supper happens 6 hours later, but dinner, if this had been October 1970, one day they were having meatloaf, mashed potatoes, gravy, broccoli, dinner rolls, garden salad, cake and ice cream. That's dinner. Cake and ice cream. The Navy doesn't think it's a good meal unless it ends in dessert. 6 hours later, they're serving you ham, sweet potatoes, raisin sauce, spinach, and ice cream sundaes. 6 hours later, it's the middle of the night. You come down, they just made a whole bunch of fresh bread, so there's fresh bread right there, cold cuts, condiments, big pot of soup, and all the day's leftovers. The Navy spent more money on our food, some sailors' food, than any other branch of any military anywhere. We had enough money for hamburgers and hot dogs. We had enough money for steak and lobster, crab, shrimp, prime rib. Every Friday night down here was ribeye steak night. Ribeyes coming off that griddle. Go ahead.
Did the Navy like save money not paying for maybe like housing because it was all in one? It seems like a hotel.
Well, that's another note. They spent an awful lot of money on subsailors because they wanted to keep us. There's not much fun on being a submarine. You can't sit out and watch Tom Cruise go by in his F-14. You never get a chance to watch the sun go down. So they feed you, and they have good cooks. And I'll tell you about the entertainment here in a moment. That's all they can do for you. They pay a little bit extra. It's called sub pay, but nobody ever got rich on it, I'm afraid. Go ahead.
How do people exercise or stay in shape?
There was no exercise of any kind on this submarine. It went to sea in 1959. They didn't invent jogging until the 70s. Leg warmers were in the 80s. This submarine never had any. Can you imagine doing knee bends and somebody going, "Hey buddy, move it along, what are you doing out there?" Modern submarines, universal machines, bicycles, it's 1/8 mile up one side, 1/8 mile down the other. But this one had nothing. So I'll tell you, modern submarines are just a heck of a lot better. I'm just trying to get you to feel sorry for me, okay? Go ahead.
Is that a soft serve machine?
Hang on to that thought. I'm going to point at you in 3 minutes and 10 seconds, okay? You ready? All right. Where was I? We were talking about meals, and I was just about to tell you Friday night was steak night.
Yes.
And my submarine was steak and lobster. Saturday night, though, forget all the high-class food. It was just pizza. Pizza, 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 pizza. When we got done, we made popcorn, show movies. They were very good about bringing down movies for us. We never had to watch a romantic comedy. We got to watch shoot 'em up, bang bang movies. We got to watch driving cars too fast movies. And in 1965, we went out and they handed us this new movie called The Sound of Music, and we loved it. Just watch it over and over. By the time we went home with that movie, we could turn the sound all the way off, and everybody could sing every song. All right, the three most important machines on this whole submarine are not the torpedoes and the periscopes and anything else. They are the, you know what this one is here?
Coffee maker.
Yeah. How about this one over here? You know what we call this one?
Lucky.
We call it bug juice. Bug juice. And where is the third most important machine down here? What's this one for?
Soft serve.
Soft serve. I have to tell you, I had a very intelligent woman from England here last summer, and I pointed to that and I said, "What's that?" And she said, "Beer." We're headed out of here. We're going to our last spot. It's called maneuvering. Right here is where three people are always working. It's called being on watch. One guy's the battery operator. He's looking at all those battery gauges right there. Batteries are down where you saw the bunny. Right here is a diesel operator. When the batteries start to go low, this guy's going to start up 1, 2, or 3 diesel engines. Today I've got him a high-priced helper here. And the third person back here is running those two big steel wheels. They make the submarine, this here is faster and slower. And that one over there is forwards and backwards. You have to know what you're doing. You don't want to back up a submarine unexpectedly. Here, like, we're about to start saving the life of this battery operator. He's really worried. His batteries are just about to go completely flat. He comes to you and he says, "Commence snorkeling." Now, this is how we start diesel engine number 2. We're going to have this guy start 2. We're going to have you start 3. These panels are exactly the same. I'm going to tell this guy exactly what to do. I'm not telling you anything. Everybody ready? Watch this. Commence snorkeling. Space drain down. Fuel oil priming up. Engine run up. Last thing, push down on starting air and hold it down. Hold it down until your dial says 4. It's only 400. It's a very slow diesel engine. 400. But do you hear it? We just started 2 big diesel engines. They're out there. That room just went to 125 degrees. 130 decibels. We have to shut and lock that door right there. And if you actually want to go out there, first you have to plug in your rubber earplugs, and then you have to put on your Mickey Mouse ears. Otherwise you're not allowed out there. 5 minutes unprotected and you're deaf forever. So don't do that. You are now the most important guy on this whole submarine. You're watching water temperature, oil pressure, oil temperature, air getting into the submarine. You're running the masts and all this stuff back. You're and you're working hard. You look like you're playing the piano for about 4 hours. At the end of 4 hours, this guy's happy. Batteries are full. He comes to you and he says, secure snorkeling. And then you do this. Ready? Engine run down. Sorry. There we go. Fuel oil priming down. And space drain up. Did you get a red light? Yep. That noise quit. I can sign these guys off. They did that very, very well.
But all these needs to happen while the submarine is
at the surface.
Yeah.
Or at least up far enough to stick that
you
mast
need the
out
air
there.
for the snorkel.
Yeah, we can't breathe air in without being on the surface.
So how often do you need to go up?
It's a very complicated engineering problem because we are underwater all the time. There's a 700-gallon tank up forward called the sanitary tank. Worst name I ever heard. The sailors go into the boys' bathroom. They open up a ball valve in a seat like this. The ball valve has a hole that goes right straight down to the sanitary tank. They make sure that's working. Then they roll the ball valve closed. They fill it up. They get a little salt water in there. Do whatever they're going to do, and then they roll that ball valve over. Everything drops down into the sanitary tank. That's the easy part. About once a night, we go up a little after midnight. We come up shallow in the water, but not out of the water. We're down still 100, 200 feet down there. Now that means that the pressure outside the submarine is greater than the internal pressure. So we bleed pressurized air into that sanitary tank until it's about 40 pounds per square inch greater than the outside water pressure. That means if we're down 100 feet, their water pressure outside is 44 pounds per square inch. We have to bleed maybe another 40 and 80 psi into that tank. Now, if you've ever seen a bicycle tire that was 80 psi, you know it's pretty pumped up. We open an outside valve, all that sewage goes out into the open ocean. We only do this like 100 miles out at sea or even farther. Then we close the outer valve and we've got 80 pounds of air in that pressurized tank. And we start going, trying to bleed off that. Now this is going to be sewage air bleeding into the entire side of the submarine. So they're not going to tell you this in the enlistment. Okay? But everything, as the air pressure starts to go down in that tank, pretty soon it goes back to the ambient, and then we go around and we take down all the signs that says, don't come in here, and then people can use the bathroom again. And yes, it does indeed happen that somebody walks right past that sign, says, don't do that, and they open that ball valve and a jet of sewage comes right up like that, and it just keeps going until they think enough to close that valve again. It happens enough that everybody's seen it at least once. That's something that you have to learn how to do. It's an engineering problem. Every sailor has to learn that one. Okay, I'm sorry.
She looked like a huge metal whale, black nose rippling upriver. It's the USS Blueback submarine, more than 200 feet long, more than 2,000 tons in weight, being towed home to OMSI Tuesday after nearly 2 months in dry dock.
it looks so much better than it did when it came in. When it came in, it had up to a ½ an inch of cracking paint.
Overhauling the Blueback required first a monster sandblasting job to get rid of both cracking paint and rust. Underside, her ballast tanks had become clogged with 40 tons of mud. Later, with the submarine a striking sight in dry dock, workers would apply 800 gallons of fresh paint. Now, all that work is done.
There are some additions that we added inside, new carpeting, new seats, new lighting, and new special effects for the tours that we really think our visitors will enjoy.
That work did not come cheap. In all, roughly $500,000 in labor, donated by local shipyard workers. Melody Close donated more than 3 full weeks of her time doing welding repairs.
I liked doing it. It was something that needed to be done.
Tuesday morning at the Cascade General Shipyard, the Blueback wrapped up her stay. Workers who helped with the job piled aboard for the quick ride upriver. By midday, the Blueback was back home alongside OMSI. Inside now, the $500,000 refurbishing job has made the sub steadier in the water and friendlier to visitors.
New painting in here, new upholstery on the chairs in here.